shall come with trumpets sound, with love and justice as the crown. We'll celebrate his victory and live in never-ending peace. Christ alone, cornerstone. us or them. It's us for them. It's us for them. We reject the either or. They can't define us anymore. 'Cause if it's us or them, it's us for them. It's us for them. We will not fight their wars. We will not fall in line. 'Cause it's us or them. It's us for them. It's us for them. We reject the either or. They can't define us anymore. 'Cause if it's us or them, it's us for them. It's us for them. Prepare the way of the Lord, wielding mercy like a sword. Every mountain top will be made low. No, He holds the earth like dust, and His judgment comes to us, and His judgment is love. May your judgment be love. Carrying a heart as hard as a diamond. I hide it, but I know it's written on my face. A glad hand and a smile, they don't work like they used to. Where can I turn when I'm falling from grace? Who has a heart for all the helpless?
the Bible, go 1 John. We'll be in 1 John this morning, then we'll be in the book of John twice, with John 14 and John 8. A word real quick about that song, Cornerstone. That was awesome. That song summarizes so well what we talked about last Sunday. So if you weren't here, our sermons and what we do on Sundays are recorded online. We can also get you copies. I would argue that this series is one of the most important series that we've ever done. Not necessarily because the content is the greatest that we've ever done, but simply because this series will bring us all onto one united page. It will be really, really, really valuable as we move forward. And the reason that we're doing this is because we've titled the series, or I've titled the series, Definitions. And I've entitled it Definitions because if we don't agree on the definitions of some common core words that we use around here, we will never be on the same page. If what I mean by Jesus is something different than what you mean by Jesus, then we will be on two very different pages. We will have two different agendas in mind. We will have two different purposes for our services, two different purposes for our breakout sessions, two different purposes for what we use these facilities for. Just two different purposes. Every different definition that exists in this auditorium this morning on common words like Jesus, Christian, Christianity, and church, every different definition is different. It's going to cause us a degree. If you don't want the church is doing your definition different, then that is one less person who will give their life to contribute to what we're doing here, to what we want to accomplish. And so I think this series is probably the most important series that we've ever done. Because narrowing this down is the very thing that brings unity. The analogy that I gave last week was similar to a construction project mechanic. On a construction project, it's important that every nail is actually nailed in all the way, that every bolt and every nut is all the way tightened that it should be. The same thing's true on a car. If you let a car tire or a wheel wobble on a car because you didn't tighten the lug nuts the way that you were supposed to, the amount of room for that wheel to wobble will wobble so much and will do so much damage as it wobbles that tire will eventually fly off the car. The wheel will fly off the car. And that happens in churches all the time. It happens in movements all the time. If you cannot agree on what you agree on. And so that's the purpose of this series. And so really what I ask for today is that you are very vocal this month. This January is a month to find unity, finding unity in definitions of these words. I want everybody to be open to being wrong about the way that you define words like Jesus, Christian, and church. Be open to that. Maybe don't be open to being completely wrong, but be open to having something in your definition that is wrong. One of the questions that I put on the breakout session questions today is what needs to be added to or taken away from the definition that I propose today for Christianity. I am open to the conversation, but here's the thing. You better be able to explain why. Well, I think that we need to include pizza. Pizza belongs in the definition of Jesus. My next question is going to be, why? So that's what I mean. But let's roll up our sleeves this month and let's do the hard work of finding unity and definitions. Because I'm telling you, we can get there. Now, tip you in on a little secret. The real word that I want to define this January is the word church. That's really where I'm going with the series. But in order to do so, we have to define the word Christian first. Because the church, right? You know, open the doors, there's all the people. The church is the people. I mean, we knew that from that as a kid. So the church is people. The church isn't just the people. The church is like the thing that the people become when you put the people in one group that's moving and doing together. So it's different because it's the sum of the individual parts. But we talked about, but we talked today about the individual parts as Christians. That's the subject for today. But today's sermon is a little bit easier because of what we did last week. Now, if you weren't here last week, let me be back. Last week, we talked about who Jesus is. Now, to define Jesus, you can say a lot of things. I mean, he's Jesus. But what I wanted to do last week was to come up with a concise as possible definition of Jesus. Now, there's danger in that. There's danger in being too concise. But let's be clear. There's danger in being too wordy with definitions as well. Like this one that I refused last week. This definition of Jesus, which comes from a historical Orthodox creed. The only Son of God, begotten from the Father before all ages, God from God, light from light, true God from true God, begotten, not made, of the same essence as the Father. I reject that definition for our purposes. I don't reject that definition. Like, I'm fine with it. And I'm very fine with it because it doesn't mean anything, really. Like, there's nothing wrong with it, but in all reality, there's not a lot right with it. And there's not a lot right with it because it doesn't have a lot of meaning. Because these things don't mean anything to you. But God from the Father, before God from God, light from light, begotten, not made. Explain to me how begotten, not made changes your life. And so the definition that I was advocating for last week is a definition that has meaning and purpose and changes your life when you think about it. Because that's who Jesus is. I don't want to reduce Jesus and his work and what he accomplished to a definition like this, which is just a scientific definition. The analogy that I gave last week is, I fell in love with Anna not because of how much blood her heart can beat per minute. That's scientific meaning. I didn't hear, hey, like Amanda, when she goes and gets like a annual physical done and they say, oh, my blood level's checked out, and I go, you are one woman. That's a scientific definition of a person, are their blood levels and their counts.